You know, we all lead a life of duality in a way, and we have to, because if we didn't, we would probably cause ourselves a lot of emotional damage, I suppose, for want of a better way of putting it. I mean, you know, it's been a rough week, and I'll explain some more about it. So yeah, I mean, you know, we put ourselves in a situation whereby, you know, some of it you don't want the outside world to know, or, you know, and the thing is, you'd see a lot more gibbering wrecks around, wouldn't you? Got a dodgy angle going on right here anyway. Yeah. And so yeah, basically what it was now I think if you all remember last year, and it was actually this week marks the 1 year marker of that we had our old dog put to sleep. You know, he was 17 and his quality of life wasn't there anymore. And this year we've just had our youngest girl, Daisy, which you'll have seen in vlogs before, and she took ill. Now what it was, a few weeks ago she had a season, and we didn't know she'd gotten an infection. You don't know until you start seeing the symptoms. Now, for a while she's been putting a bit of weight on anyway, just because, you know, when we were starting to sort of diet her, we were having to lift the food because she would sort of like stress eat. You know, if somebody came to the door, she would go mental and then start running to the bowl and eating biscuits that were down for during the day. So we had to start lifting that up and started rationing her food, and we were slowly sort of like winning, I think. But then what also happens around her season is obviously she puts a lot of weight on, and you know, that's sort of par for the course really. And we potato harvest. We noticed that she was starting to sort of suffer a bit. You know, something wasn't right. We weren't happy with the way she was acting. And on the Monday night, I believe it was, you know, we said, right, we'll get her I said, get her booked into the vets tomorrow, and I'll take it out, you know, when I get home. And she rang me during the day, basically, at work, and said that she'd started to bleed from her back end quite heavily, and she had basically gone onto the vets, and our vets basically said, oh, we can't fit her in till blah blah, and, you know, we weren't happy with that. Well, she wasn't happy with that, so she basically got in contact with one of the newer vets in the town, who said, yeah, bringing her in straight away. It's, you know, he obviously realised it sounded bad. When she rang back the other vet and said, you know, we cancelled, they're like, well, why are you cancelling sort of thing? We said, well, you know, you weren't willing to see her quick enough. And I'm like, well, if she'd been bleeding, so she said, I told you she was bleeding. I said, oh, did you? So that was it anyway, like, but we were at this other vet now, so he said she's got a womb infection. He told us, you know, she's got a womb infection and this can go south very quickly. So she needs basically surgery. She needs a hysterectomy, and he said it needs to be sooner rather than later, otherwise it will kill her. So she was was booked in for the Wednesday morning. We rang him again during the night, the same vet, and he said she'll still be alright. He had given her an injection. So, you know, she was bleeding more and more heavily through the night. She was covered in the stuff, bless her. And I kept having to take her outside. And so in the morning, I took her straight to the vets before I went to work. Gave the vets my number and everything. He showed me around, really good vet and everything. And you know, everybody in the town really seems to have good words for him. So I took her there, and I gave him my mobile number and everything, and he rang me by about midday, I think. He rang me and said she's in recovery, she's sitting up, all's going well. So I rang the wife, told her, you know, she's overjoyed and everything. And then about 2 hours later, he rang me back and said she's suddenly taken a turn for the worst, and she died, and they couldn't save her. So, you know, and then I couldn't get hold of the wife because she was out at a hospital appointment and everything. I came home early and spoke to the wife then. It's left a huge hole. You know, she was only 7 years old. When it was the old man Fox, you were sort of ready for it, you know. I think I pretty much knew that when I went back home I wasn't going to be taking him with me. But when you take a 7-year-old dog to the vets and it doesn't come home, then you know, it's really knocked us. That is a spider snacking on a fly right in my wing mirror. So, we'll talk about something else. Yeah, the Apple stuff. I'm sort of... You see, the fingers are itching because I'm due an upgrade, right? I go with a carrier. And I suppose I've just always done it that way for ease. I mean, there aren't any brilliant carriers for my village until I think sometime next year. There's a mast going up over on the recreation ground. So, you know, it's just easier that way, and that was why I always did it. And now I'm sort of, because I'm due that upgrade, I'm thinking, should I get one? And it's not super impressive. You know, yeah, alright, it's now got the waterproof feature added. It's got that super camera, you know, I mean, that camera will be absolutely great because obviously I use the Plus models anyway, so it would be the Plus I would be going for. The jet black, absolutely gorgeous, probably look like crap in no time at all, even in a case, because you always get that fine vibration with a case, so, you know, it's going to ruin it. You know, if I was a man in a suit all day long, be a different matter. So the jet black would be out of the question from that point of view alone. I've looked at the Apple program, and the trouble is there's no guarantee you're going to get it because you're getting like a credit, basically. Even though it's 0% finance and all that sort of thing, it's still like getting a credit facility. And you have to, in this country, In the UK you can't do it online. You have to go to an Apple store with all your details, paperwork, you know, everything. So, you know, and there's no guarantee. And of course my nearest Apple store's what? A good hour to hour and a half away, depending on traffic. So I could make that journey and come away with nothing. Although it's probably the better option, that way you own it outright, and also next year you can just go onto the Apple store and upgrade. You know, you get the next phone on you. Now, some of the carriers are now doing that. They've obviously taken up that option as well. And I know my carrier is, which is O2. And I don't know, it's just costly. And from that point of view, I'm thinking, don't bother. It's just, I don't know, I mean, this works fine. Yeah, alright, the battery's starting to get a bit lackluster, but it's only when you're using sort of like this stuff like this heavily and what have you, but it does for what I want. So when you consider all the factors in, you know, and on my carrier I'm looking at paying another £10 a month or something like that, just to get that better camera for the same device basically. Alright, it's faster and all that sort of thing, and yeah, I dare say, you know, it's a lovely phone to use and all that, but I don't know, I mean, my daughter's going to upgrade her 6. It doesn't go up that much for her, but you see, now that my device part of the contract, because the way they did it then was it was in a 2-piece. It came out as 2 separate bills, even though it was all one. And one was your device plan, the other was the contract. And my device plan was £20 a month, so that is now finished, and I only have the contract. So that's a saving of £20 a month for me. So, you know, it's, you know, the only other thing that I would have done is gone to Apple, got it from there, then obviously I can swap next year, and I can just go and swap my contract for something cheaper. You know, I mean, I think it's 20 something pound a month, something like that. I get, you know, you get a bundle of gigabytes and free calls, and well, all my calls are open-ended free, and texts and what text schmecks, I couldn't care less about them. You know, I just use iMessage over Wi-Fi and 3G, so, you know, and I don't use that much data. The most I use is if I go away and have to use maps or something like that, you know. But, yeah, I don't know, it's just, it seems a lot of faff for not a lot better. But, you know, stay watching this space, I might still get one, I don't know, it's just, depends on how things go with this. I mean, at the minute it's okay, so, you know. Anyway, lamb today, the lamb's in the oven. It's got about another half an hour-ish to go, so I need to go and get me veg on and what have you. So I'm doing Yorkshire puddings as usual and all the usual stuff that goes with it. Work's been quiet. Well, we've got work in, we're waiting for a bit of stock to finish it off, but it's been relatively quiet, so there's been times you've been sort of thinking, what shall I do next? So, Fred, busy chilling in the sunlight, because it's warmed up quite a bit today, whereas it's been pretty sort of lacklustre all week, and then it's warmed up a bit today, and then there's a news report, the south of Britain's going to get the hottest ever September day in 50 years. They're expecting it to possibly cross the 30s, I think, in the south, something like that. I know the local radio reckon that we would be getting somewhere around 24 degrees this coming week, so that'll be nice. It's probably going to be the last of the sunshine this year, like, but mind you, I say that every time I get a sunny day, don't I? It's the UK though, you've got to live every sunny day like it's the last sunny day, and that is true. Anyway guys, I'll catch up in a bit. So I've had my tea. That was quite nice actually. Turned out alright, that bit of lamb. The neighbours have been a bit annoying. They've got some friends or something around and keep kicking the football over the fence and setting the dogs off. I think they're doing it deliberately. I think they got the message when I threw it back with a grumpy look on my face and shut the door fairly harshly because it hasn't been over again. So I can't be doing with that, you know, once or twice and they don't mean it, you don't mind, but when they're taking the mickey and you can hear them laughing about it and what have you, it's just getting ridiculous. So if it comes over again, it stays over. Anyway, yeah, so not the best of weeks, but yeah, getting through it. So just trying to think if there was anything else I had on my mind, and I don't think there was. Still got a few bits and pieces that I need to get sort of videoed and what have you. I haven't had a chance this weekend. Just obviously I put one up. I had that partially already recorded anyway. I've got another one partially recorded, like the beginning recorded, and I need to do some more of it. And then I've got quite a few bits and pieces to do as well. I've got a VR headset as well in. More earphones, some on-ears and some in-ears, and a set of lights actually. I don't know if they'll be... No, they won't be coming on yet, but they're outside. They're like an outside lantern string. I've got a long string of all these lanterns and they come with little Chinese pop-out lanterns. And you push the light inside and lock it in sort of thing. And I can't remember how many's on the string now, but it's run by a solar panel. So that's on a spike that you stick in the ground. So I'm testing that out at the minute. It's interesting, I think. That's from Anglink. I've tested some of their stuff before. What else is there? I can't remember. I've got some bits upstairs that I need to do as well, actually. But I know I'll get around to it. But yeah, it's just, it didn't help that I forgot to take my meds this morning either. I only just took them about an hour or so ago, which answered why my head was a bit sort of all over the place and I was struggling to concentrate. But I'm going to keep it short anyway, guys, because like I say, it's it's been a bad week, and when it's like that you don't really feel up to it. So what's happening? Don't know whether that's the light auto adjusting or yeah, my screen's going darker and lighter, darker and lighter. It's maybe trying to adjust the lighting situation in here, which isn't perfect, I know. Right. That seems to be better, that's stopped it. Yeah, I think it's just struggling with the lighting. But anyway, guys, I'm going to get off, so have a good week. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers, guys. See you.